course caution to allow Aussie to catch up against the rest of the pack. And that'll make things very, very interesting. But it's a fascinating race unfolding now, and Ricky Taylor, an absolutely masterful job at the front of the field.
We talked earlier about the Ford Corvette making a pit stop. Was that a strategy move, Shay, or was there an issue?
No, it was definitely a strategy move, but it was entertaining when I asked two people in the know who should know, can they make it to the end on field? Jerry Pratt gave a confident yes, while the crew chief for Brian Hoy gave a, well, it'd be nice if we got a yellow or two. But we talked about how racing is a family affair, and Brian Hoy, who we fondly call Hollywood, he's not alone on the team from representing his surname. His wife, Anna, also works on the team. She goes over the wall and she does the fire bottle for the car as well. So when we say Corvette Racing family, it really is a family.
Well, and right now that Corvette family is in danger of going a lap down to the leaders in class, as after making that pit stop, Oliver Gavin is in fact Milner. Thank you, Tommy Milner. I thought it was Milner. Don't believe your eyes, Jim. Believe your brain. Milner is got his mirrors full of the two Porsches, Earl Bamber and Patrick Pila.
There is the BMW, our pole sitter of Bill Oberlin onto pit lane, so giving up the third position in GTLM. Porsche's way out in front, Earl Bamber and Patrick Pile running in lockstep at the front of the field in GTLM. Near now is our pole sitter Bill Oberlin. He will bring that number 25 car in, and it will be the German Dirk Werner who will take over at the wheels for the closing 1 hour of this race.
And coming up in almost exactly 40 minutes, and with 1 hour to go, he will easily be able to make it the rest of the way, I would think, Jeremy.
Yeah, no problem there, certainly.
Oh, that's a drive-through. That's a drive-through, Jeremy. He did not stop in his pit lane.
Really?
All right, Shay, what's going on down there with the 25?
Well, it's a good thing he didn't stop in his pit lane, Jim, because I'm pretty sure he would have run me over. Yeah, Dirk Werner is ready to go. He's suited, booted. He's eager to get in the car, as a matter of fact. But no, Bill drove right past his pit box. I'm going to try and find Johnny Notzer, head pit lane official. But good news for the Corvette. The Porsches are both coming in, and they are both doing driver changes, as it looks like Nick Tandy will be getting into his 911 first. Their sign is already down. Fred Matko will be getting behind the wheel of the 912. And an interesting nugget, Jim, none of the factory Porsche drivers have a win at Long Beach, the ones that are here this weekend at least. And now we actually have the 911, and Patrick Pile comes down. These guys trouble firing the car. He can't get it going. This is not good. Stationary on the pit lane. 5 seconds now since they finished fueling. He's still going. Just saw a flicker of taillights. Fires it up. He's angry after that, as now the 912 pit board starts to come down. So now that they've gotten one car out of the way, they can worry about the next. But it's the 912 in particular that will be blocked by this 54 car, as their whole crew, you can see the anticipation in everyone's eyes. They're bouncing up and down, and he's in the pit lane. 42-second pit lane delta on this very, very long but beautiful, I do have to say, pit lane. And he as Earl straps in his teammate, and it looks like it's getting busy for GT time. The 3 is also getting ready to come into pit lane. No trouble for the 912, leaving as he pulls out right in front of Jan Magnussen. It will be Antonio Garcia getting in behind the wheel of the 3, and the 25 car coming back in, 62 a little bit further down. We have Giancarlo Fisichella getting out, Tony Vilander getting in. They also are doing 4 new Michelins, working on the left sides right now. Corvette Racing will definitely beat them out as they are just finishing up their driver change. They already have the fueling and tires done. Driver change is the last thing to do on this car. It's taking the longest amount of time. That's rare for Danny Banks, but Antonio Garcia puts the car back in gear and goes. We now have Bill Oberlin coming to a stop. Dirk Werner getting in the wheel of that car. We got that beautiful imagery last year from their win of Dirk Werner spinning in all the glory of the champagne, and Bill saying earlier that he would love nothing more than to get another win. Last year they gave him a key to the city. Who knows what they would give him this year? Maybe they just would give him the whole city and put him in charge. Bill walking slowly around the car. Their fueling took almost no time, as there's a big black look on the nose of the BMW. As a matter of fact, didn't notice that before. GT cars are out of pit lane. Woof, that was busy.
Great job from our Continental Tire pit lane reporter Shay Adam there. Just kept her going. Wind her up, send her loose, keeping you in the know. And our Continental Tire pit lane, Shay Adam, good job. The GT competitors have all pitted now. They've all made their first pit stops, including the 62 car, who pitted during that whole time that we were looking at the Porsches and the Corvettes and the BMW pitting. It'll be interesting to see what the situation is now. The 911 has come back down pit road. The 911 with Nick Tandy behind the wheel has come back in after only 1 lap. So there may be an issue with that car. That car has had terrible luck this season as they have had an 8th place finish at Daytona and a 10th place finish at Sebring. This is a car who was actually the defending champion car with Patrick Pilet behind the wheel. They have struggled this season. They're 10th position in points right now coming into this race.
Yeah, they've got a lot of ground to make up, haven't they? But there is still a long way to go in the championship. But it's difficult to make up points in this series because there's not that many. It's not really much of a points differential. You get 35 points for a win, 36 points for a win actually, but 33 for second place. So only 3-point differential there. Then it's 31 for third, 29, 27. And then after that is 26, 25, 24. So even if you all those lower positions, you're only going to pick up very few points of a margin if you have that deficit coming in here. So you just need to score consistent points. Scoring well consistently is the key to winning the IMSA WeaterTech Sportscar Championship.
67 makes its way to pit road. And Shay Adam, you've got an update on why Nick Tandy was penalized.
Look for the 912 to come back in as well, Jim. They were both nabbed for speeding on pit lane. That's going to hurt. Yeah, everyone's just cooling off, so I'm going to try and wrangle up some guys for interviews here soon. But both Porsches, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Wow, that is a very uncharacteristic mistake, Jeremy, for a team of professional drivers of that caliber.
Very strange, particularly as they've been here all weekend. They've been running to that speed limit of 60 kilometers now all the weekend long here at Long Beach. So when they press the button to have a speed limiter on the car, when they press the button on the steering wheel, then the car will not do more than 60 kilometers now. They've run it all the way through the weekend. Why did you make a mistake now? I don't know. Other than perhaps they pressed the button a little bit too late and didn't get the car slowed down early enough, because the pit lane speed limit begins right after the Port of Long Beach bridge at pit entrance and extends all the way down to way past the final pit. So it's a 50 seconds you lose here, or it just cost you 50 seconds of time relative to if you were running on a racetrack to make a drive-through penalty here. And that's the best part of a lap here, or not quite, but it's certainly 3/4 of a lap, and it's going to take you out of contention for the win for sure. So very costly mistakes by the Porsches.
And this is going to open the door for Oliver Gavin in the number 4 car, because if the 912 is indeed penalized, as Shay said to expect, then we will see that car take over the lead to 31. Whalen Corvette has come to the pits. Looks like a driver change.
And we're 47 minutes into the race, 52 minutes to go. Dane Cameron will get behind the wheel of car number 31. Eric Cameron's done a really nice job, but Dane Cameron certainly is a little bit quicker, and he will be hoping that he can get out now, turn some quick laps, and make up some hay while the other contenders get ready to first and second place cars doing exactly that.
Shay, it looked like everything was pretty much a routine stop for the 31 car as the 10 and 5 are coming to you.
It was exactly what you would want a pit stop to be. You take out Eric Curran and you put in Dave Cameron. There you go. So you got 4 new Continental tires and a whole lot of fuel. As it looks like there might be, actually looking up towards pit out, it looks like there's a bit of smoke there, Jim. This might have been a spinner, but the 10 car comes to a stop. There will be Ricky handing off to Jordan as they are already over the pit wall. The 5, whose pit box is actually further toward pit out, still has yet to come to a complete stop. The 10 has completed their driver change. They've done the left side tires before the Action Express guys have even got to the left side. They are now doing the right. The Wayne Taylor guys are some of the best in the business of pit stop. And we've got the 912 coming in to serve his drive-through. A lot of fuel going in for Rick for sure. As he goes back out, Action Express still doing their pit stop. It looks like Joao is now behind the wheel. Yep, 912 just comes by us as 5 car beats out the 912 to the penalty box, which is right in front of the Flags pit box. But the 10 car is still in the lead. That's a big round of applause for the 10 guys for getting that stop done so cleanly. 90 also coming in, and we've got the 85 PC car will be in shortly as well, Jim.
I'll tell you what, there's some lines there at the end of the pit exit, and there's double yellow lines to demarcate the pit lane, the exit of the pit lane from the racetrack. I was in the drivers' meeting this morning. The drivers were told very clearly by Chief Steward Bo Barfield, at the end of that double yellow line, you can put 2 wheels across there to take the line into turn 1, but no more than that. I'll tell you what, that was awfully close there for Christian Fittipaldi, trying to make up a little bit of ground there, because the earlier you turn in, the better line you get through the corner, the more speed you can carry. It wasn't Christian Fittipaldi, because it was Joao Barbosa having taken over the wheel at car number 5. But that was awfully close. You don't want to get it too far, because again, you don't want to get a penalty. But it looked like to me like the differential between those 2 cars going out of the pits was about the same as it was coming in. That was about 3.5 seconds. It's going to be Tom Long now who leads for Mazda. And in fact, we've got a Mazda 1-2 because neither of those 2 Mazda prototypes is yet to make its pit stop.
Ooh,
did
Jordan Taylor.
Catch the wall
Yes,
there?
he sure did. Coming off the hairpin, trying to lap one of the Ford GTs. He kissed the wall on the left-hand side, and they kissed it pretty good. That was more than a love tap, as he's got just about now about a 3-second lead over the number 5 car. Their battle for third, as Jeremy just said, it's the 2 Mazdas who've yet to pit, Tom Long and Christian Nunez. And now here comes one of those Mazdas into the pit lane. In fact, it is the 55 car of Nunez. He'll be coming to the attention of our Continental Pit Lane reporter, Shay Adam, as now the Action Express number 5, Joao Barbosa, works his way past the Ford and will start to pursue Jordan Taylor. Let's go to Shay.
The anticipation of this car in particular is so great because Tristan Nunez had a little bit of an issue in qualifying, but the Mazdas have been showing all weekend that they have serious speed. They were excited when they did the track walk and noticed that the curving was actually different through turn 8, which gives them a better jump onto the straight and allowed them to get a bit more speed. They've already got the left side Continentals done. They're working on the right as they have finished dropping Jonathan Bommarito in. You know, it doesn't take much to get that guy behind the wheel of the car. He's always ready to go. Fueling's still going. It's petrol this year, not diesel. That's the big difference with these engines. As he is being signaled to go back out. Big slide, nearly takes out my legs, but ton of it, that's okay. He's back out, he's ready to go. The 70 will be coming in this next lap.
Tom Long now has brought the number 70 car, the race leader, with lap 40 in the books, and almost exactly at the halfway point in the race. It's actually gone more than half distance. There's Tom Long as he brings that number 70 car onto pit lane now. Tristan Nunez was in the lap before, so that will enable Jordan Taylor to regain the lead of this race. But that gap from first to second, it was 3.5 seconds before their pit stops. It's now down to about 2 seconds. We're going to wait and see. Here come the leaders.
Fooled you, didn't he?
It was Coyote Corvette, but not
number 9
race leader.
Number 9 and the number 10, very similar blues, but the number 10 has a little more black in the paint scheme. Let's head back to Shea for the 70 pit stop.
It's a clean stop so far, but they're only doing 2 tires from the looks of it. They've only put left side tires on as the driver change is taking a lot longer than it did on the sister car, the 55. Fueling just stopped. Then Joe Miller, very smart, watching his mirrors as he left his box. The 38 just left slightly ahead of him, the Performance Tech PC car. Kyle Marcelli behind the wheel of that one now. Keep an eye on Kyle. He's quick around the streets of Long Beach, but Joel Miller very heads up, watches, and now waits behind that long double line to get out to pit, back out on track. He's behaving the rules, though, guys. He knows how to play at this track.
So the entire field, with the exception of the 52 PC car, currently second in class, and the number 88, as now the 52 does come on the pit road. So Robert Lamont will be doing that. Also, the number 100 pitted earlier, but Lucas Luer stayed behind the wheel, so they are definitely looking for apparently a second stop for that car, because Lucas will have to get out eventually, as we're coming up on 45 minutes to go in the Bubba Burger Sportscar Grand Prix of Long Beach. So Joel Miller will turn over first place once Jordan Taylor comes through. Here comes Jordan Taylor by us, chased by Joao Barbosa, and indeed goes to the top of the scoring charts. Dane Cameron will come through in third position. Christian Nunez has dropped to fourth. The fifth position now. Joe Miller will come through. I think Christian will come by also. I think he will have gotten volume in the pit stop exchange. Yes, he did. So that's your top 5. The 10 Corvette, the 5 Corvette, the 31 Corvette, then the 2 Mazdas, the number 70 of Joe Miller, and the number 55 of Tristan Nunez. Now, earlier, Bill Auberlen made a drive-through before his pit stop. Shay, what was that all about?
Well, let's ask him. Bill, earlier, before your pit stop, you made a drive-through. What was that about?
I was out there. We catch those LMPC cars, and some of the drivers are not quite as quick, but they're very quick in a straight line. So they outrun you in a straight line, then they're in your way to turns, they outrun you in a straight line, and this happened for 3-4 laps. So the Porsches that were ahead of me, 912, 911, blowing away. It's really frustrating, right? They're holding you up 2 seconds a lap by doing this, and all they got to do is just give it a moment of their time to let you by and you'll disappear. And so I went in under him at turn 10. He didn't see me because he's busy looking forward. He turned in on my nose. He spun, he hit the wall. I get the penalty. We get a drive-through penalty and we'll come up. It's frustrating, you know. I mean, we do this a lot. You just wish from my side that the team that is talking to those guys in the park would say, hey, the guy, I didn't just land there out of thin air. They can move over a minute. I go by and off we go. That's all.
It's the 54 that you're talking about, the car that's actually pitted right next to you, so you guys get to watch them work, but it's still not game over yet. What does Dirk need to do to come away with another win?
Well, now it's just we got what we got to the end. The Michelin tires are on. Everybody's got it. And he's just going to run along the spin here. And hopefully, you hope the Corvette, it looked like the Corvette tires fell off in the first end. I'm sure they changed compounds now. So they'll be a little more prepared to go to the end. If they don't, they'll fall off. Hopefully, cars start coming to us and we pick them off like we did last year, one by one by one. 912 and 911 look really fast. I mean, it's going to take some luck to get by those guys. But if we can crawl our way back up and have Dirk kick his way back up to third, I'll be happy.
This is a track where Bill Auberlen's been lucky in the past, so I'm not counting him out yet.
Well, but his teammate Dirk Werner, Jeremy's got his hands full of Nick Tandy in the 911. They just made contact. Tandy kind of kissed the right rear quarter panel of the BMW for Dirk Werner and pushed him sideways as they were going around the fountain, and then they went side by side into the right-hander after the fountain. That's going to be a pitch battle.
Yeah, it is, and you know, he certainly got some assistance there, did the BMW, and got it very, very sideways, and then enabled Nick Tandy to make the move in the following corner. Now, the officials told the drivers this morning, look, if there's contact between you, that's up to you guys, because to race you. So tit for tat here is going to be sort of allowed. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but we'll see how it unfolds, because certainly the number 25 BMW made that was kind of very aggressive in making that move.
Faux Barfield playing the part of the responsible adult for these drivers.
It was Nick Tandy, who was the aggressor there.
Yes, Nick Tandy was the aggressor. That's Ricky Taylor with a bold move to start this race. Shea Adam, is he happy with that first stint?
Ricky, that was such a great move off the start. Have you been planning that the whole time, knowing that you were going to be starting a little bit back?
Yeah, I was devastated after qualifying, so it's nice to start in pole at Long Beach because track position is so important, and I was thinking about that all night, and starting at 4 o'clock today, it took me all day to think about it, and I had to plan every situation planned in my head, except for that one where I accelerated right out of 11, and it was a bit early, I thought, but you know, we're a bit trimmed out, so I was able to stay close, and it's actually easier sometimes to be second because you're not the one feeling the new grip of the track after all these hours, so I had a little bit of an advantage, I'd say, just being able to attack, and he didn't give me any room, but that's racing. It was good stuff.
Just how big of a difference having all these different tire compounds running was the track from when you last ran on it?
Yeah, I mean, luckily I got to do qualifying in that 20-minute session, but it's very, very different from yesterday. And Jordan hasn't driven since first practice, which was, you know, normal Long Beach traffic out there. But, you know, it's really good. Leading the race, we're at a ton of Conic Worlds against here again this weekend, so we're Chevy 1, 2, 3, so it's good on all fronts right now.
And Jim, at least he has the decency to be sweating. He's very, very tired after that one.
That's very polite of him, Shay. That's very polite of him, because sometimes it's very infuriating to see these guys get out of these race cars after they've been working their butts off, and they look like they're an underwear model or something.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, what's happened here, we can see, we're watching the screen now, you can see one of the big screens around the racetrack we're watching at home here on IMSA.com. We've got a battle on for the lead. All of a sudden, Jordan Taylor now has got Joel Barbosa just 3 or 4 car lengths behind him. I'll tell you what, Dave Cameron has closed the gap as well. Before the round of pit stops, the gap between first and second was about 3.5 seconds. The gap back to the third place car of, at that stage, Eric Curran, was about another 12 seconds. Well, now, the first 2 cars are pretty much nose to tail, and Dave Cameron in third position was only about 6 seconds behind the top 2. And that gap after the pit stops was about 8, so he's closed him at least a couple of seconds, has Dave Cameron, towards those 2 leaders. He's got a long way to go to catch him. As we can see, he's coming out the hairpin now as the 2 leaders come past the camera into that sweeping section of Shoreline Drive. It's certainly a lot closer than it was. And we've got 2 Mazzas in the 4th and 5th positions. Joel Miller in car number 70 and Tristan Nunez in car number 55 right behind him. But I think they're scoring it should be Jonathan Bubba should be now wheel number 55. Because Tristan started, so the scoring's a bit screwy today. It's not very happy. It's got some glitches in there, but the Delta Wing is out there running quickly as well for Catherine Legg. So, you know, unfortunately I haven't got a good vantage point here, so it's only difficult to keep my normal lap chart going. So I can't really verify, to be perfectly honest, what is happening on the racetrack. But what I do know is we've got this great battle for the lead. In BC, meanwhile, Stephen Simpson has taken over from Mikhail Goldberg in that number 85 JDC Miller Motorsports entry, the bright yellow PC car, and he leads pretty handily over Renge van der Zande in the Starworks Motorsports car number 8. Carl Marcelli has taken over from James French in the Performance Tech Motorsports car number 38. So he's running in a 3rd place. So PC is number 85 for number 8. Quite a big margin between those 2. Number 38's car, and Tom Kimber-Smith taken over from Robin Alon in a 4th place PC car. That is car number 52. In GTLM, it is the Corvettes that lead. We heard from Bill Ogden saying that he's going to need some help to get past the Porsches because they are fast. Well, he did get some help from Porsche themselves, because with those 2 speeding penalties, both of the Porsches have dropped quite a long way back. We've got the 2 Corvettes, number 4 car, well ahead of number 3 car, so no real battle going on there between those 2. Number 912 Porsche, Fred Makovicki, is in the 3rd position. Then Tony Villander in the Racing Competizione Ferrari is in the 4th position. Again, quite a gap between each of those 4 cars. That's number 4 Corvette, number 3 Corvette, number 912 Porsche, and the number 62 Ferrari. No real battles going on there. The real battle in this race is at the front of the field overall between our 2 leaders, number 10 and number 5. They're coming, they're now on lap 48.
and that speeding penalty, in for a penny, in for a pound, 17 miles an hour over the speed limit. So you're going to hammer it. As the leaders come by us, nose to tail, and they head down Shoreline Drive. Jordan Taylor leading Joao Barbosa. Dane Cameron further now, just 4 seconds back. So Cameron is eating into this lead battle at about 2 seconds a lap, Jeremy. At this point, as Cameron is trying to get by the number 4 Corvette, who's leading the GTLM category, and it took Taylor and Barbosa a little while to get by them, so they should pull back out on Cameron once now they have cleared the 4 Corvette. But they continue to be nose to tail as they continue to circulate this 1.9-mile circuit.
Yeah, tremendous battle going on between these two, and yeah, there was a little bit of traffic last time around. Dane Cameron taking advantage of that. The fastest lap of the race still stands. Shown as Catherine Lake, but that's not correct on that chart. I think it's the fastest lap still stands to Christian Fittipaldi way back on lap 18, a 1 minute 16.184. But no, it's not, because we've got guys down now in the 15s. So yeah, 15.9 on lap 45 for Stephen, 15.7 for Joao Barbosa right before that. But a 1 minute 15.2 for Dane Cameron. Just a few laps ago as well, so Dane Cameron is absolutely flying there, and the fastest lap record here was set by Dane Cameron last year, the 1 minute 15.6, so he has already broken the record that he set last year. The youngster from Northern California, Richard from Sonoma, lives now on the East Coast, but Dane Cameron, he really is a star, and he's trying to whittle away the deficit that he has to our 2 race leaders now going around turn 5 at the far end of the racetrack.
Turn 5, heading towards turn 6 is Jordan Taylor and Joao Barbosa. And now you can see Dane Cameron in the camera shots. He has closed up to a point where he can almost see the people that he is chasing. And boy, that's when you really get the bit between your teeth. And so that's as the leaders are starting to come up on lap traffic. This says they are nose to tail. Taylor and Barbosa. Will Barbosa get the opportunity to make a move as they come up on these other cars? As they're going through turn 9, through the hairpin now. They'll be coming by our position right in front of us. Here they come, nose to tail. They're catching the number 100 BMW and continuing Dane Cameron. Behind our leaders, so he is coming hard.
Yeah, and the leaders here, they're beginning to work their way through some traffic. The BMW there making a lot of room on the approach to turn 1, really heads up driving by the BMW. That lets the 2 leaders pass. Now they've got one of the Ferraris, that is the Scuderia Corsa car, number 68, Daniel Serra, who we saw make that pit stop in the very first lap of the race to take over from Alessandro Balzan. That strategy hasn't worked, but now Jordan Taylor looks to the inside of turn 6 against Serra, leaves in room those 2 go through. But Dane Cameron is getting closer and closer and closer, but now he, of course, has to work his past them as well. He's just got past the BMW, so it's going to be just 3 or 4 laps, and Dane Cameron could be right with these 2 race leaders. They're going inside, and going under braking at the end of Seaside way into turn 9. Joao Barbosa fainted to the inside line as if he was trying to make a move there. He didn't. He tucks in behind again, but this is a great battle for the lead. And now Dane Cameron is right with them.
Nose to tail, coming out of the hairpin are 3 leaders, first, second, third, the 10, the 5, the 31, and that's how they'll cross the start-finish line. Barbosa feigning that move, as they have been, we talked about it in our IHG Rewards Club, keys to the race, handling the traffic, and this is what they've been doing, and Dane Cameron has really been working the traffic very, very hard. Let's go down real quick to our Continental Tire pit lane. Oliver Gavin has been patiently waiting. Thank him, Shay.
Well, thank you for waiting, Ollie. You're one of 3 people who can say they've won a GTLM race so far this year, and in the last calendar year, you've gotten a couple of
Always great to race here. This circuit is such a great challenge to race and drive around, and we've got great competition here today, and our Corvette C7.R has run pretty well throughout this race. We had to stop early just due to a slow punch on the left front, which was frustrating. We can do it.
That explains what your dancing was about. You're doing the caution dance, hoping that it comes out, yeah?
Yeah, we certainly are. Certainly on our side of the garage we are. And, the three cars great in a great spot as well. They're right behind us. So I think if we can't stay up front and take the victory, hopefully the three car can and get a victory this year, which would be great for them. But yeah, it's hope fingers crossed could be a good day for Corvette racing.
It's a big family, Jim. We keep saying that.
Yeah, and that family's going for its 100th GT victory today. So if it can't be the 4 and it is the 3, they'll still be very happy there because they'll be reaching that milestone. Lucas Luhr has finally brought the number 100 into the pits as we've got just over half an hour to go, 31 minutes remaining in this 100-minute race. And out at on the racetrack, things are just like they were when they dropped the green flag. Oliver Gavin's dance worked.
Wow. Is that the accident? Happened, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Goodness gracious me. So, I don't know what happened there for Colin Brown, but he is dead in the water coming on the exit of the hairpin. But these cars all have onboard starters, so it must be something pretty catastrophic on that car that has failed. So we can replay here.
It's smoking. There's smoke coming out of the car as he was coming. I don't know if that's a lockup or because it was smoking before he jumped on the binders.
It was. I think there's no smoke coming out of the back of it there. Curiously, so that was.
I bet it expired.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever it was, though, it's been a tough day for Core Autosport. But boy, this is going to change things up. It's great news for Porsche, of course.
Yes, great news for Porsche, great news for Tommy Milner and Oliver Gavin, because this might just be the caution they need that can get them to the finish without needing a splash of fuel. And this is the first caution that we've had in
4 years. We run 2 years. We have
with the WeaterTech. Yeah, 2 years caution free with the WeaterTech Sportscar Championship. So this is our first. Our first caution in 2.5 years. Shane?
It was the left rear suspension giving out again, and Core is beginning to pack up their pit box, thanks to Travis Brown for saying that. But he said it gave out as a result of the initial contact. The guys thought they could fix it, but the fix didn't hold.
That's a tough break for the team.
Curiously, you should park it there rather than kind of limping it out of the way.
Yeah,
strange by Colin, because they clearly had the problem going into the hairpin. All he had to do was drive up there into the escape area and get it out of the way. There's tyre barriers there. He could have parked it behind, so why he made the effort to turn the corner and not just bring it the next 100 yards into the pit lane. Not quite sure. I guess if the suspension failed, maybe it took out the drive shaft, or maybe he had no drive.
That's very likely, because he was asking for a restart, so that could be that.
He was just signaling that he'd lost power. He needed help. That's what that's. They're putting his hand above his head and circling his finger means he needs help. He can't get it going with his own volition.
So less than half an hour remaining in the Bubba Burger Sports Car Grand Prix. This is going to be a real shootout. Jordan Taylor, 54 laps complete, has got the advantage over Joao Barbosa and Dane Cameron. It's Corvette DP's first, second, third. Then come the Mazda twins, Joel Miller in the number 70, Jonathan Bomarito in the number 55. Then Ryan Hunter-Ray, our IndyCar star, winner of the Indianapolis 500 in the number 90 car. And then in PC, it is our Daytona winners, Steven Simpson, who's teamed in the number 85 car with Mikael Goikberg. They continue to lead. Renger van der Zande is in second place in the 8 car. Then comes the number 38, which is the Performance Tech entry with Kyle Marcelli behind the wheel. Then the 52 with Tom Kimber-Smith. So with those 4 drivers, you've got some real hot shoes. That's going to be a great battle all the way to the finish. And then we get to GTLM. This caution has really changed the face of this race because Tommy Milner was hoping for a caution so that he would have enough fuel to finish. Antonio Garcia is in second place in the other Corvettes. We've talked about it already. Corvette looking for their 100th victory for the program in the GT category. Then in third place, Fred Makoviecki, whose team has had to serve a stop-and-go penalty for speeding in pit lane. They are now in third position, chased by Tony Vilander in the number 62 Ferrari. The Ricci Competizione Ferrari number 62, Jeremy, has quietly climbed its way back into contention, had a flawless pit stop while all the other teams were pitting, just quietly came in, has gotten about their business, and now with this caution, they are definitely in with a shout.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting, isn't it? Because particularly in that GTLM battle, Tommy Milner, yeah, this caution period certainly could give him the opportunity now to get to the end, but he's certainly got a lot less fuel to play with than the other contenders behind him. He's going to be touch and go. So yeah, I don't know. It'd probably be okay for him to make it to the end, but certainly Fred Makoviecki has the fastest car on the track in GTLM, and he's now made up a massive deficit that he had before. This caution has really played in the hands of Porsche, and particularly Fred Makoviecki, because he set the fastest lap of the race in GTLM by quite a large margin, 118.0 for the Porsche car number 912, but running in third place at the moment. The Corvettes in front of him, the fastest lap for number 4 car was 1 minute 18.7, that's 3/4 of a second slower. And number 3 Corvette, a 118.5, so that's a half a second slower than the Porsche. So the Porsche is the class of the field this afternoon in terms of ultimate pace, but can he find a way past?
And earlier, when we were talking to Oliver Gavin, and he let us in on the fact that they were possibly a little close on fuel, we should note that Tommy Milner was out there running all by himself at that time. So he couldn't save fuel. He wasn't under any pressure. He didn't have to push. Well, now that game is over. He's going to have to push. Antonio Garcia is going to be right behind him. Garcia isn't going to be hanging about because he doesn't want to let Fred Makoviecki by in the Porsche. So this is going to be a great 1-2-3 battle. We've got fantastic battles in all 3 classes as we are coming up on 24 minutes remaining.
Yeah, because the Corvette made its pit stop with 1 hour and 9 minutes to remaining in this race. The other contenders were in how much later? About 9 laps later. So yeah, they made their stops with about 40 minutes remaining in this race. This caution period is going to eat up quite a bit of time, so certainly give the opportunity for the Corvette to make it, but as I say, the Porsche is the fastest car, and we've seen how aggressive the Porsche drivers have been already in this race. Big Tandy giving a nudge to Werner to move the number 25 BMW out of the way. As we see one of the Ford Chip Ganassi races, it's kind of a 66 Ford GTs onto the pit lane. That car is a couple of laps off the ultimate pace.
Let's check in with our Continental Pit Lane reporter, Shea Adams.
Mission Glickberg, you already have a pretty big win on the resume for this year, and first trip to Long Beach, and it's going so well so far. How was your first stint?
It was good. We stayed under control the whole time, got a good start, and capitalized on our pole position. So hopefully, the last 23 minutes, we'll bring it home and get a clean restart.
What's the most important thing about maintaining the tires throughout the race? Do your Continentals fall off at all over the course of a stint?
No, not too bad, especially this being a sprint race. Essentially, it's pretty much go the whole time. You don't want to burn them off, but other than that, it's pretty aggressive. It's going to be a very, very good tire.
Good luck.
Thank you.
While we were talking to Mikael Goldberg there, both Fords, Jeremy, made their pit stops. Remember, they pitted early, very early, so they've used this caution to get their second stops in. and so they will definitely be good to go to the finish.
Yeah, number 66 car, as I say, is a couple of laps behind the rest of the contenders in GTLM, so we can pretty much discount that car. But number 67 car, Ryan Briscoe at the wheel of that car, is not. He is still on the same lap as the other contenders in GTLM. Now he's going to put on a fresh set of Michelin tyres, the softest tyres they have. So it'll be interesting to see if he can charge up and make up that ground.
And we are back to green at Long Beach with just under 22 minutes remaining. Jordan Taylor leads them down into turn number 1. He'll make the left-hand turn onto Aquarium Way and head towards the Dolphin Fountain, chased by Joao Barbosa, who's chased by Dane Cameron, who is right on Barbosa's tailpipe as they go by the fountain and make the right-hand turn on the West Ocean. That short, bending right-hand turn that then that's a long radius right-hander there as they head onto West Shoreline. And now the 25 car has come into the pit. Shea Adam.
Dirk Berger pulls the BMW to a stop as they have only one Michelin tire ready for him, and it is the left rear as the car has trouble getting up on his air jacks. It looks like it might be some sort of slow puncture because the tire looks slightly deflated, but nothing out of the ordinary. Really nothing that you couldn't go with forward. It looks like somebody had actually run into it, and pieces of it were coming off of the sidewall, so they had to pit. This is not the day for the 25, as the 52 has also come in a bit further up pit lane. It looks like there's a bit more extensive work going on as a new nose cone is going on that car. Same driver staying behind the wheel, and it looks like maybe they might change a tire. They have the right front ready to go, that Continental. If the field comes back around, the 52 is not going to get a podium today either.
Wow, perhaps there was contact between those two. Cause and effect, perhaps not. We'll wait for word from the officials as the 0 car has slowed, gone into one of the runoff areas. That's the Delta wing, and he's coming on to used the Catherine Legg, thank you. Andy Merrick started the car. Catherine Legg has brought the car onto the pit, so she used the shortcut though.
Yeah, that's a terminal problem for the Delta wing. It's a shame because the car's run pretty respectably here. They had maybe some problems earlier in the race. It was going up and down with the timing charts. They had maybe a transponder problem as well. But here's this battle we're looking at now on the screens in GTLM. The 2 Corvettes still leading. The good news for them is they've got the PC leader LM cars, and Stephen Simpson really has done an excellent job, as did Michel Goikhberg in the opening stint of this race. We heard from him a little while ago, and he was imploring Stephen Simpson to bring that car home, and that is certainly what he's doing now. And heads up driving by the 2 Corvette drivers, or one of the Corvette drivers so far, just to leave it room. They know the prototype car is fast, PC car is faster. Let him go. He's not part of our battle. We're just worried about the Porsches.
And in fact, it's a delicate balancing act because you've got to leave enough room for the number 85 prototype to get by, but you don't want to leave enough room to let the number 912 Porsche take advantage of the opening you leave for the 85 and follow him through. And that's exactly what Antonio Garcia was able to do. And he's kept Fred McAvicky at bay. And this is going to allow the 85 with Steven Simpson behind the wheel to pull away from second place in the class, Renger Vengesanda. And he's going to be able to build a pretty good cushion here in the late going. Just 18 and a half minutes remaining. The Delta wing earlier had some brake problems. Catherine Legg has gotten out of the car and was looking at the back end. Can you tell us more, Shay?
There is a fire, and that's why she pulled up the track initially. And the brake problem was earlier. They're not sure if their 2 issues were related, but the team is talking to Catherine, trying to figure out if everything, but now she has gotten out of the car, so things not looking good for them.
And you're not missing anything at the front of the field. Jordan Taylor has pulled out now a 1.3 second lead over Joao Barbosa, but Dane Cameron is just 0.4 of a second behind Barbosa. Then comes Joel Miller. There's just 3.5 seconds separating first through fourth. So we'll keep an eye on that battle for you as we're watching the prototype challenge cars work their way through the GT cars, as Vengesanda was able to also get by get by the Porsche, and now he is separated, as has also looks like the number 90 Ryan Hunter Ray has also gotten himself between the Porsche and the Corvette. So until the traffic clears, this battle for the lead in GTLM is going to be a Corvette affair.
It is, and they've shown really good pace here, and they're able to stem that tide, if you like, because the Porsche was certainly looking very, very strong there with Fred Makovic, but since the green flag restart, it's made no ground, because one of the reasons being that we've had those PC cars, the leading PC cars that are a lap ahead of the GTLM cars in the overall race order, not battling for positions on the racetrack, but they had to let those cars pass and get them on the way, and then once they are passed, then that battle can really recommence in GTLM. But the two Corvettes have got a pretty good margin now over Makovic, and Makovic is pretty much on his own in third position in GTLM.
Meantime, at the front of the field, Jordan Taylor has pulled out almost 3 seconds on the second place battle. The two Action Express cars, the number 5 with João Barbosa and the number 31 with Dane Cameron. Dane Cameron, a rising star in American motorsports. This youngster comes from great racing stock. His dad was a longtime crew chief for guys like Johnny O'Connell in the Atlantics, and a lot of success under his belt. And Dane has learned at the knee of his father, and is very sympathetic with the cars. He gives good feedback to the crews, and it is standing him in good stead as he races with this Action Express crew, and is in fact giving João Barbosa everything he can handle at this point.
Yeah, Dane's dad, Ricky, he's the race engineer for number 90 car in this race, with Ryan Hunter-Ray at the wheel of car number 90 at the moment, in 6th place overall, and his uncle Steve Cameron is a pretty accomplished racer in his own right as well in the Atlantic Series, now a team owner in another Sportscar Championship. So he runs a go-kart center up at Sonoma Raceway as well. So yeah, a lot of racing in that Cameron family. Jordan Taylor really is stamping his mark in front. He is edging away now from the second place car, João Barbosa. As you were saying, Jim Brawler, that battle is certainly going on behind those two, and then Joel Miller is pretty much there as well, and Jonathan Bonrito right behind him as well. So we have two Team USA scholarship drivers, Dane Cameron and Joel Miller, battling over 3rd and 4th positions, and Jonathan Bonrito right behind him, and American Ryan Hunter-Ray in the 6th position. But that car has not been very competitive today. Neither Ryan Hunter-Ray nor Mark Goossens able to match the pace of the leaders on the streets of Long Beach.
Less than 15 minutes remaining. Don't forget, when the racing's over, the talking's not done. You can tune in to Michelin Post Race Tech on IMSA Radio, and just tweet your questions with the hashtag LBPRT. That's hashtag LBPRT to @Radio Le Mans or @IMSA Radio, and we'll answer your questions as part of Michelin Post Race Tech. Final 15 minutes, as I said, and we talked at the top of the show, Jeremy, about our IHG Rewards Club keys to the race. Don't make mistakes on the pit stops. Well, we've seen the Porsches do that. They're struggling to keep up with the Corvettes now because of it. Yes, they're the fastest car on the racetrack, but the Corvettes had the advantage. Getting by one of them is going to be hard enough in the last 13 minutes. Getting by them, both of them, is going to be even a tougher task. Out front, control under pressure. No errors from the drivers. Jordan Taylor, other than that little kiss in the wall, he and Ricky Taylor have been inch perfect throughout this race, and they hold the top spot as we head into the final quarter of this race. Final quarter hour of this race, I should say. Yeah,
and last year it was Jordan Taylor who made the pass on Scott Pruitt, wasn't it?
Yes.
Right after the pit stops, kind of in the middle of the race, to regain the advantage. It was Ricky Taylor who started from the pole last year, led through the first stint, but Scott Pruitt and Chip Ganassi Racing got one more lap of fuel out of that car. That was enough for Scott Pruitt to emerge in the lead after the pit stops. It was up to Jordan Taylor to make a brilliant move at turn 1 to retake the lead of the race and go on to win it. This afternoon, it's the other way around, because it was Ricky Taylor who made a brilliant move at the very first corner down at turn 1 to wrest away the advantage from Action Express Racing. And now it's Jordan who's taken over the car in the lead. He's not only maintained that lead, he's actually edging away now from João Barbosa in second place.
João Barbosa has his mirrors full, and I think he's kind of driving a little bit defensively at this point, which is allowing Taylor to get away as he's trying to hold that position from his teammate, Dane Cameron. Then it is the two Mazdas, the number 70 and the number 55, Joel Miller and Jonathan Barmarito, who round out the top five. In PC, it is Simpson over Van der Zande and Kyle Marcelli. 85, 8, and 38 are your numbers there. And they are separated by about 6 seconds. So Simpson used traffic very well, but Carl Marcelli has climbed right up on the tailpipes of Renger Van der Zande, and those two are going to be going at it, as has the 912. Fred Makoviecki is right on the tailpipe as they head down Seaside Way of the number 3 Corvette. So the battle is joined for second place in GTLM and second place in PC. I love this multi-class racing. There's great battles everywhere you look. Fans here at Long Beach have been enjoying racing for 42 years, but never has it been as good as we see in these sports car races, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, Fred Makoviecki now has really got the bit between his teeth, closing quite rapidly. And now on Antonio Garcia for second place, and Nick Tandy is charging along behind him as well in the number 911 Porsche. So the Porsches are third and fourth in the class. It's still the Corvette 1-2, and in number 3 car Antonio Garcia playing good rearguard action here. He's allowing Tommy Milner to edge away in the lead. And the gap between the first and second place cars, the two Corvettes, about a couple of seconds as they work their way. Have some traffic contentions of their own, but this race is far from over. We've still got 10 minutes remaining, and as we've seen before, anything can happen. Look here, as the car's coming to turn 6, we've got the Corvette, the second place Corvette of Antonio Garcia with Makoviecki right behind him, and Nick Tandy in the second of the Porsche is about 4 or 5 car lengths farther back as well.
And if Garcia is playing games and slowing down a little bit to try and let Tommy Milner get away a little bit, Makoviecki isn't going to stand for that for very long, and it may in fact be the case because Tandy has reeled these two in very quickly, and Makoviecki has been all over the tailpipes of Antonio Garcia for the last lap and a half. So Garcia better pick up the pace, or he's going to. We could get a little push and shove here going on.
Yeah, the Corvette certainly get a really good launch off the hairpin there onto Shoreline Drive, and as they come off the corner, the gap between them fills out to about maybe 6, 7, 8 car lengths. The Porsche closes in a little bit by the end of Shoreline Drive, and as they're under braking for turn 1, there's a cigarette paper or half a dozen perhaps between the back of the Corvette and the front of the Porsche, and the second of the Porsches is right there as well. It's a fascinating battle going on for second place in GTLM.
Oh, and Garcia spins and hits the wall, and the two Porsches go through. What a huge mistake by Antonio Garcia as he had just cleared the fountain, was starting to make the right-hand turn, that long right-hand sweeper that we talk about, and he just lost control and spun to driver's right, nosing the car into the wall and hitting pretty hard, and he's come to a stop, and the two Porsches went through, and he was all by himself. I didn't see any hint of contact there.
He certainly wasn't all by himself, but because the Porsche right behind him, it certainly didn't look like there was any contact. I completely agree with you, Jim. That was very strange. Very odd place to lose control, certainly, but there is damage, certainly to, I believe, the left rear corner on that Corvette. Just got on local yellow at the moment. There's Danny Bix, his aspiration in the Corvette racing pit.
As Garcia's trying to get the car, he kind of lurched it forward there. He's got it fired and back underway. Let's look and see if we can see any damage.
I think the
left rear suspension
is broken.
Yeah, there doesn't look to be. Doesn't look like there would be. He was too far away for there to be any contact at all. He was almost he was more than a full car length behind him. But it may have been a broken suspension that caused the spin. He may have lost that left rear suspension because that would have thrown the car sharp right as it did.
Indeed so.
Here's a look from the onboard of the 912, and in fact, Garcia goes by, and Fred Makoviecki gets sweet 1 second.
Yeah, that's right. So now he's going to set his sights on the leading Corvette of Tommy Milner. So this is going to be a battle in the closing stage. You've got the two Porsches, deficit of about a couple of seconds or so. There's number 100 BMW in the tires as well. Boy, lots of drama in the closing stages of this race. Unfortunately, timing and scoring is locked up there, which is a bit irritating. We've got about 7.5 minutes remaining in this race. That is John Edwards, who was into the tyres and out of the car and is not kind of a 100. Some very quick laps being turned there, particularly by Dane Cameron, a 1:15.6 last time around, but he cannot find a way past Joao Barbosa. Meanwhile, it is still Jordan Taylor who leads this race. So look here what happened to John Edwards coming down into turn 1. Certainly nobody in front of him here. Oh, the hood just
jumps up. Then he spins, hood flies off.
You can see nothing.
Sideways into the tire barrier.
That was bizarre.
That was very bizarre, John.
You got me on that one.
Yeah. Just all of a sudden, there was no vision as the hood was, the underside of the hood was all he could see. So,
yeah,
6.5 minutes remaining. 6.5 minutes. Let's check in with Shea Adam. She is at the free pit.
Antonio Garcia bringing the car in at a more rapid pace than I would have expected, in all honesty, as he turns and aims for me a little bit as they come into the pit lane. There is a similar damage amount to the 90 car when it nosed into the barrier yesterday. Actually, the splitter just pushed up the slightest amount, but it is the suspension that is the biggest issue. As the crew guys take both tires off, they are looking at it, trying to figure out if this is anything that they can fix within the next few minutes, because with the race so close to over, it might just be worth calling it a day. But this is not an organization that's used to doing it. They have taken all 4 Michelins off. The crew guys going to work. They have 2 guys working on putting 2 new Michelins on the front too, as the right rear Michelin tire, which came off, looks pretty okay. The left rear, though, that's another story. There was a big cut in it. This car looking very, very second-hand at this point up close, though, gentlemen. It's missing emblems. The crew's signaling game over. They did the cut across the throat. It's done for the 3. 2 races in a row, Jim.
Yeah, tough break for them, and we got a little bit more clarification thanks to our TV partners who were able to show us that the 100 BMW with John Edwards behind the wheel lost a wheel, and that's what caused the problem. He lost his right front wheel. That pushed the hood up to where he couldn't see. Then he spun the car into the tire barrier at the end of turn 1. So tough break for the number 100. But that car has struggled most of the weekend, to be honest with you. And that's a rough way. But that's a rough way to end the day. But meantime, out on the racetrack, the battle is joined for first place. Corvette versus Porsche. With a second Porsche waiting in the wings, should there be any contretemps between the number 4 and number 9, 12. The 3 of those cars are nose to tail as they come by our broadcast position here on Ocean Boulevard.
And Tommy Milner there got really sideways coming out of the hairpin there, Jim. That cost him a bit of momentum, and now he has to defend the inside line going down into turn 1 from the 2 Porsches. Hey, tell you what, it didn't take long for the 2 Porsches to catch up again to the Corvette, did it? Just a couple of laps, and the deficit had been, well, a couple of seconds, 3 seconds in actual fact. So the Porsches, as we were saying a little while ago, they are really flying here this afternoon. Porsche Motorsport North America, based right here in Southern California. A lot of supporters here on hand this weekend. Corvette, hey, it's the all-American car, isn't it? So it's a tremendous battle, as we always see in GTLM. In the middle of the race, it was pretty dull there, I have to admit, by GTLM standards. But now we've got some fireworks with less than 4 minutes remaining in this race.
About 3 laps to go for these cars, depending where the overall race leader is. It could be only 2 laps. So it's put up or shut up time for the Porsches, as Tommy Milner is just doing everything he can to keep these 2 cars at bay. It was interesting, Jeremy, you talked about the Corvette having the grunt off the hairpin. Probably these 2 cars, the Corvette and the Porsche. The Corvette, the front engine, big, heavy American iron, and the Porsche with the engine at the back, allowing all of that force to be put into the rear wheels, are probably the 2 cars that are best suited for this type of racetrack.
Yeah, good point, isn't it? Wow. I'll tell you, another quick note here. Jordan Taylor is leading the motor race. He's also just set that car's fastest lap of the race at 15.773 seconds. It's not the fastest lap of the race, but it is the fastest lap in for that particular car. And he's now enabled him to edge out that lead over the front of the field over Joao Barbosa and Dane Cameron in car number 31, who has set the fastest lap of the race to around about 3 seconds now between first and second and third.
And Milner now, as they head down the little short shoot, then downhill before the right-hander on the Seaside Way has pulled out a couple of car lengths on the 2 Porsches. But they are able to come back as they run down Seaside Way. They'll be right on his tailpipe again as they make the right-hander into turn 9. Out to the wall, and then hard right, and then hard left through turn 10, and then hard on the brakes, and the 912 hits him. The 912 hits Milner as they entered the hairpin, and the 911 has gone through unscathed and into the lead. Oh, it's going to be very interesting to see what the officials make of this, as the 912 to me just looked like he drove right into the back of the number 4 Corvette. Yeah, sorry, but that just looked like he just used him as a brake.
And we talked about earlier on that Chief Steward Bo Barfield implored the drivers, as he has done at every drivers' meeting this year, to respect his rivals. There was no respect there from Fred Makowiecki. Certainly number 4 car was a little bit offline coming into the hairpin, but there was no way that Makowiecki was going to make that move. That was clear, avoidable contact between those two, and if there isn't a penalty of some sort, certainly the Corvette did get a little bit sideways coming through turn 10, the left-hander, but there was no need for Makowiecki to do that. That was a big mistake by Makowiecki, but what has it done? It's given the advantage to his teammate. I don't like that at all. That's not proper motor racing, I can tell you that.
Let's check.
There is damage though to 912, so he's out of the race. He's going to be in the pit lane.
Let's check with Shea Adam.
Yeah, the 912 is going to be done. There's smoke pouring out of the left front of the car as the bumper has actually come and wedged itself into the wheel, and part of the wheel well, the inner lining of the tire rim actually wedged back, so the whole system has shifted backwards. But disgusting driving. I mean, really, Jim, you said it perfectly. That was never going to happen.
So Fred Makowiecki has, and you could almost see it coming, Jeremy. As I said when the battle was fully rejoined, I said you've got the 2 Porsches and the one lurking in the wings if there happened to be any sort of contretemps between the 2 leaders, and in fact there was, as now Jordan Taylor comes through the hairpin, and it looks like he will be getting the white flag. Yes, he is. The final lap for Jordan Taylor. Is it going to be 2 in a row for the Taylor Racing Team? Will it be the 31st victory for Corvette in the DP category since 2012? One lap will give us the answers. Taylor has now pulled out a very comfortable 2.5-second lead, and meantime Barbosa has pulled out almost a 2-second lead over Dane Cameron. Meanwhile, the 911 of Nick Tandy continues to circulate. He'll be taking the white flag this time. Be a bitter taste of victory. It'll be interesting. As I said earlier, they've got a 10th at Daytona and other troubles at Sebring. As here comes Jordan Taylor through the hairpin for the last time, and he'll take the checkered flag. 2 in a row for Taylor Racing. Congratulations to Jordan and Ricky Taylor. Ricky getting a big hug from his dad, Wayne. There's a happy group down there in the number 10 car. Joao Barbosa will take second, and Dane Cameron should be third, as number 85, Steven Simpson, continues to lead in the PC category. He goes down Seaside Way for the final time. He'll make that right-hander into the short shoot. Oh, trouble for the number 38, the 38 car, third place car is crashed going on to Seaside Way. That's Kyle Marcelli just trying to push a little bit too hard, but at the front, the 85 comes through the hairpin one last time. He's got about a 1.5 second lead over the number 8 car. Brander Vandezaga takes second place, but a tough break for the number 38 car. Kyle Marcelli, the young Canadian driver, hitting the wall very hard on driver's left. Here comes Tandy through the hairpin for the last time. He'll take over the victory. Then comes Tommy Milner. Absolutely fantastic last 15 minutes of this race. Let's go to our Continental Pit Lane reporter, Shea Adam.
Ricky and Wayne Taylor, big hug for both of you. 2 years in a row, 3 years that you guys have been on the top 2 steps. What is it about this track that agrees with you?
I don't know. It's ever since Kana Caminolto's been with us. And it was this race 3 years ago that Conor came up to join the team. And we always perform really well. The guys give us an awesome car. And there's a Corvette 123, which is even more special. So great day for Chevy. I don't know how GTLM ended up, but we couldn't be happier. Jordan did an awesome job. Everybody was fantastic.
And Wayne, for you guys especially, you're known for being fantastic on the pit stops. There was one today, and that's where I counted. But it was your boys getting it done off the start. How fabulous does this feel to finally get the first win of the season for a DP car?
Well, you know, first of all, yesterday was so disappointing with Ricky, and it was really rough. I mean, last night was a rough night because he thought he had the pole and made a slight mistake. But, you know, what those two boys do is something unbelievable, you know, and a team that supports us like this, I mean, Konica Minolta, Chevrolet, ECR, I mean, just, there's so much focus on this team, and it's become a pain for me because there's nothing but winning anymore, and I'm so ecstatic and so relieved for everybody.
Can hear the emotion in your voice, Wayne. Congratulations. Enjoy tonight, my friend. You get to drink some champagne.
I will do.
Yeah, Jeremy, that's a happy papa, I can tell you that much. We got a clarification on what happened to Kyle Marcelli. He was trying to make a move on the number 8 car. It looked like he got it a little bit wide at the exit of turn 8, clipped the left rear, and then slowed down and then spun and kind of hit the inside wall on the driver's left pretty hard.
Left, yeah. What up there? I mean, that'd been a great battle for second place for pretty much since the restart between Renger van der Zande in the Starbucks car, number 8, and Carl Marcelli, number 38 of Performance Tech Motorsports. And Carl, he wasn't trying to make a pass there, but he tried to carry a bit too much speed going to turn 8, hoping, I'm sure, to make a move at the end of Seaside Way. Unfortunately, he didn't get that far because, as you say, Jim Rowley, he clouted the wall on the left, broke the rear suspension. He tried to carry on, but then the suspension broke, the wheel folded around and turned him sharp left into the wall. So, unfortunately, quite a bit of damage now to that number 38 car. He'll still be classified in 3rd place in PC because they were a lap ahead of Johnny Molam in car number 20, but still that's not the way the Performance Tech team, a really hard-working team from South Florida, wants to finish the race with a badly damaged car.
Let's go back to Shea, who has the man who won in that class.
Misha Goikberg, you go from being a IMSA Lights champion, now you've won 2 PC races out of 3 on the season. What does this feel like?
Well, it feels amazing, and it's definitely a long journey for us, for a long haul for the championship. So we take each race one by one, and it's definitely great to win here today. So we're going to celebrate and then think about the next race at Laguna.
I think there's going to be a pretty hard party tonight for him, Jim.
Lots of Bubba burgers.
Bubba burgers for everybody, I suspect. As a great performance, as Shea said, 2 wins out of 3. But now we get to GTLM, Jeremy, and what a controversial finish we had there. Nick Tandy claims the victory. You saw the Porsche crew celebrating. Tommy Milner is not going to be a happy bunny.
No, he certainly isn't. And Nick Tandy, he'll come away here. Nick Tandy and Patrick Pilet will come away collectively with their 6th victory in the IMSA WeaterTech Championship. But that certainly won't be the sort of way that Nick Tandy will want to win a race, because nothing he could do. He wasn't part of that at all.
Yes,
he was just a beneficiary.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to imply when I said,
of course.
He wasn't involved in that at all. But it was a controversial finish, but none of his doing.
Indeed so. But it was the Porsches were the class of field in terms of pace this afternoon. No question about that. So you certainly can't deny Porsche that aspect.